Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Papa Plays YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, July 10th, and we're back breaking down 6 more plays for the Wednesday night slate of games. We're going to be looking at a match between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies as the first play of the day, and then we're going to be looking at a match between the Guardians and the Tigers for the best play of the day. 2 total game picks as well as 4 player props, and the 2 best player props will be at the end of the video as always. I hope everybody has a great day out there. Get yourself past hump day, and let's break down some ball. All right, guys, let's take a look at this graphic from Tuesday night, recording about 5 o'clock Central Time. None of the games have started yet. Best plays of the day on Tuesday night. We had a really bad Monday night. We need to bounce back on Tuesday. Astros -1.5 against Miami Marlins. Hearing a lot of people in the comment section say the Astros are postponing the game or canceling the game. I looked at the website. It seems like the game is on still for 7 o'clock Central Time. So I'm going to keep playing it as the Astros -1.5. Jose Ramirez over 1.5 bases going up against the Tigers, and Kenta Maeda. Jake Irvin under 2.5 runs going up against the Mets. 5 o'clock now. He's probably got a no-hitter in about 4 or 5 hours. So that'll be fun to watch tonight. D-backs on the money line going up against the Atlanta Braves. There was a pitching change in that one. Chris Sale now going up against Zach Gallen, but I gave it out, so I have to play it. Chris Sale has been really good this season, but Zach Gallen, first 5 innings, we got to trust him there. Christian Walker, same deal here, over 1.5 bases. It will be a left against right matchup now, which probably benefits Christian Walker a little bit with that batting average. And then Jake Myers, over 1.5 bases. Again, if the game's postponed, we'll have to avoid that play, but for right now, it's in action. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Nothing has changed yet. We did have a really bad day the other day, so the record took a little bit of a hit. 12-9 now over the last 7, but the numbers overall in the season, they're pretty good. I am going to restart, I think, 0-0 fresh after the All-Star break, see how well we can do after the All-Star break. But let's get into these plays for Wednesday. We're going to be looking at the Los Angeles Dodgers going up against the Philadelphia Phillies for the first game, and statistically, these are 2 of the best teams in the major leagues this season, both of them having to deal with some injuries, though, over the last couple weeks. The Dodgers are still dealing with Mookie Betts being out of the top of the order, but it looks like the Philadelphia Phillies, they're going to have Kyle Schwarber and potentially Bryce Harper back in the lineup. If those 2 are back playing in this game, and it looks like Kyle's projected to play on Tuesday night, Bryce Harper also projected to play on Tuesday night as well. If those 2 are back in the lineup, this is back to one of the most dangerous teams in baseball. And if you remember, whenever those 2 were healthy, they were also dealing with Trey Turner being out of that lineup for several weeks. So they are all now at full strength, and I'm going to take them in this game on the money line to beat up the Dodgers at home. We do have a pretty good pitching match in this one. Gavin Stone going for the Dodgers, Christopher Sanchez for the Philadelphia Phillies. Both of these guys are coming off rough starts, though, and Gavin Stone, before the start of June, was having himself a very good sophomore season for the Dodgers. He still is, but over the last 5 games, he's been getting beaten up a little bit more than usual. In his last game, he gave up 4 runs off of 7 hits going up against the D-backs. He's coming in with an impressive 3.03 ERA and a 1.20 whip. Those numbers, they're way better than what he showed his rookie season for the Dodgers, so he is improving. But again, over the last 5 games, he has given up 2+ runs in 4 of those 5 games, with his only good game being against the Chicago White Sox. This is a very dangerous Philadelphia Phillies lineup, top to bottom, especially with everybody back in the lineup. I think we're going to see Gavin Stone struggle again, going up one against the better teams in baseball. On the other side, Christopher Sanchez, he's also coming off a bad start, going up against the Cubbies, where he gave up 7 runs on 7 hits, going just 4 innings. He has been a lot better, though, than Gavin Stone over the last 5 or 6 games, because he's only given up 1 run in his previous 3 starts before that Chicago Cubs matchup. He's had a couple spot starts where he's given up 4+ runs, but over the last 10 games, he's given up 2 runs or less in 8 of those 10. He's coming in with a 2.96 ERA and a 1.24 whip. Both of these guys early in their careers are showing a lot of improvement in year 2 and 3. The Dodgers, they are still a very good team without Mookie Betts in that lineup. I do expect them to put up a few runs in this one, but the Phillies back at full strength, I've got to take them here at home on the money line as the play. For the player props on the screen, I'm just going to be playing Shohei Ohtani to go over 1.5 bases against the Phillies. Ohtani had to fill in for Mookie Betts, taking over the 1 spot for the Dodgers in that lineup. It has led to him hitting a lot of solo home runs, not hitting a lot of home runs with people on base. He's now coming in with a 314 batting average on the season with 28 home runs, and the only man in front of him is Aaron Judge, obviously in that category. I'm not looking for a home run in this game because whenever Ohtani goes up against left-handed pitching, it seems like he slows the swing down and goes for contact instead of power. We have talked about his power against left-handed pitching before, and whenever he gets a lefty on the mound, he typically just goes for contact. He only has 7 home runs and 5 doubles against lefties this season, but he is hitting .298 against lefties on the year. And it doesn't really matter who's on the mound because he's such a great hitter, but Ohtani does change his game whenever he sees a lefty. He typically goes for singles. I'll be happy if we get a home run or a double. I'm not expecting one in this game because he only has 12 extra base hits against lefties, but I will expect him to have 2 hits in this game, both being singles. I'm going to take him over 1.5 bases as the play here. For the best play of the day, we are going to be looking at a match between the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. The American League Central can get very interesting if the Tigers take a lot of games away from the Guardians. These teams are going to go head-to-head in 10 of the next 19 games, and the Tigers already took game number 1 on Monday night. Detroit is pretty far down in the standings. They're sitting at the 4th spot right now behind the Royals, Twins, and the Guardians. they can make up a lot of ground if they take 7 or 8 of these games over the next 10 games against the Guardians. The pitching for the Tigers has been saving them this season. I do think we're going to see a low-scoring game once again between these two teams. I'm going to take the under 8.5 runs scored as the play. I think it's over under 8 runs right now. On Monday night, both of these teams were able to get some people on base, but neither one of these teams could get anybody across the plate. The only reason the Tigers were able to take that game was because they scored a run off an error from the Cleveland Guardians, winning the game 1-0. I'm looking for both of these starting pitchers to shut down the other one, and we're going to start with Tanner Bybee for the Guardians. He's coming into this one with a 3.67 ERA and a 1.12 whip, coming off a really bad start against the Giants where he gave up 4 runs. But before that game, though, he had been really good against 2 of the better hitting teams in baseball, the Orioles and the Royals, giving up just 3 runs in those 2 games, going 6+ innings in both those games as well. Tanner, he does have a couple games mixed in there where he's given up 3+ runs, but he has been very good over the last 10, giving up 2 runs or less in 7 of those 10 games. He has been very good at getting himself out of jams as well, with 115 strikeouts on the season. And whenever he's striking people out, typically he doesn't give up more than 2 runs. Over the last 10 games, whenever he strikes out 7+ people, he's given up 1 run or less in 5 of those 6 games. I expect the Tigers to continue to struggle hitting the ball and let their pitching save them once again, like we've been seeing all season long. They're going to have Reese Olson on the mound, and the Tigers, they might actually have one of the better rotations in baseball because at least 4 of these guys on the season have pretty good ERAs. He is coming in with a 3.22 ERA and a 1.18 whip, and those are some pretty good numbers, and he has a 3-8 record to show for it. Kind of brutal there with the run support. The problem with Reese this season has not been the home run ball, and that's one of the big reasons why I like him to contribute to the under in this game, because he's only allowed 5 total home runs in 17 starts this year. Over the last 4 games, he has only given up a total of 5 runs, going 6+ innings in 3 of the 4 games, and I expect the same outcome in this one going up against the Guardians. He has faced off against the Guardians already this season. He was basically perfect. He went 6 innings in that game, only giving up 1 hit, but of course the Tigers, they took the loss because they couldn't get any runs on the board. And I went back and looked at the run production that he gets whenever the Tigers have him on the mound. They scored 1 run or less in 7 of his 17 starts this year. Whenever he's on the mound, for some reason, they have trouble putting up runs, and I think that's going to continue because I do think Reese will be able to shut down the other side. He's just not going to get a lot of run production. I love the under in this one. Everything's pointing towards it. Give me the under 8 as the play here. For the player prop, I took the under in the game, but I'm going to take Riley Green to go over 1.5 bases against the Guardians. I gave out Riley Green under the other day on the member side because he was going up against a lefty, but whenever he goes up against right-handed pitching, you have to put him in the bet slip. This is going to be a left against right matchup, and Riley Green, who's coming in with a 258 batting average, on the season, he's hitting lefties at a clip of 179, but he's hitting right-handed pitching at a clip of 285. Against right-handed pitching this season, he has a total of 31 extra base hits, including 13 home runs. But against lefties this season, he only has a total of 7 extra base hits, but he hasn't seen a ton of lefties, only 84 official at-bats. The numbers for him are so much better against the right side. I'm going to take him in this game, getting a favorable matchup against the righty and Tanner Bybee. Give me his over 1.5 bases as the play here. For the best player props of the day, we're going to start with an all-star. Give me Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 bases going up against the Cubs. Apparently, this is the best shortstop in baseball. He's going to start in the All-Star game over Bobby Witt Jr. And I know it's a popularity contest. He got more votes from the fans than Bobby Witt Jr. did, but these guys are so very close. He does have really good numbers on the season. He's coming in with a batting average of 293, and in his 3rd season in the MLB, he's already become one of the best players in baseball. I like him in this game because he has been hot at the plate after a little bit of a slump against the back end of the Rangers series and the Mariners right now. Over the last 4 games, he has collected a total of 8 hits, having double-digit hits in 3 of the last 4 games. He's going to get a matchup going up against Shota Umanaga and the Chicago Cubs, and Shota has been bad over the last few games. It all started on May 29th whenever he gave up 7 runs to the Brewers, and from there it's been downhill for the most part. Before that game against the Brewers, he was coming in with a 0.84 ERA. Now, just over the last 7 games, that's raised to 3.16 with a 1.11 whip. This is his rookie season, so his numbers are still very impressive for a rookie, but he has given up 3+ runs in 3 consecutive games, and against the Mets 3 games ago, he had a triple-double. I think it was 10 earned runs, 11 total runs, with 11 hits in that game. He's given up 5+ hits in 3 consecutive games as well, and 5 total home runs over the last 3 games, giving up the long ball. He is struggling with his command on the mound and with his confidence, and that's typically what we see out of rookies early in the season, but it's just happening right now for him in the middle of the season. This is going to be a left against left matchup, and that's okay because Gunnar, he's been pretty good on both sides of the plate this season, having a 252 batting average against the left side, and he hasn't had a lot of at-bats against lefties this year, only 103 total. He has made the most of it, though, having 5 home runs, 3 triples, 4 doubles in those very limited at-bats. I expect another good game out of the All-Star in this one. Give me his over 1.5 bases in the matchup against Shota Umanaga, who has struggled over the last several games. Let's go over to the pitching prop, and I'm going to take Kyle Freeland under 2.5 runs. Might bite me in the ass here going up against the Reds. I've tried to take Kyle Freeland to have bad days going up against the Nationals and the Kansas City Royals in 2 of the last 3 games. But ever since coming back from his injury, Kyle Freeland seems like he's a completely different person. He has given up a few too many hits over the last couple games, giving up 7+ in back-to-back performances, but he has only allowed 3 total runs over the last 3 games. Coming back from the injury, he's worked his ERA from 13.21 to 6.62, and at some point, I've got to make the adjustment and realize that Kyle is pitching well and he might never go back to his old self. That's what we saw early in the season. I think he just might be a completely different person. I'm going to take him here under 2.5 runs going up against the Reds. The Reds, they are a very streaky team with all that young talent, and we're going to see if Kyle can get past them in this game. The number for Kyle all season long, they've been bad. So it's telling us that he's going to have a bad start going up against the Reds. But I had a chance to watch him against the Royals in his last game, and I also watched him going up against the Nationals 3 games ago. And this is not the Kyle Freeland that we saw at the beginning of the season who gave up 10 runs and 10 hits to the Diamondbacks in 2 innings. He looks confident on the mound for the first time all season long, and he's only made a couple mistakes. 1 home run over the last 3 games. He's only had 4 total walks. I'm going to take him in this game under 2.5 runs. Against my better judgment, I'm going to back Kyle Freeland as the play there. All right, let's go over to the recap graphic. We are going to take the Philadelphia Phillies back to full strength, hopefully, on the money line going up against the Dodgers and Gavin Stone. Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 bases, couple singles in that game against the Phillies. Riley Green over 1.5 bases, getting a matchup against the righty. We're also going to take the under 8-run score between the Guardians and the Tigers. Kyle Freeland under 2.5 runs is the best player prop of the day. And then Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 bases going up against the Cubs and Shota Umanaga, who has struggled over the last several games there. Guys, that's going to do it for the MLB picks and props for Wednesday, July 10th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe down below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.